14,097. How the power of the Korean people can be revitalized. 2.
This too is a turning point. Instead of claiming I am smart, insisting on my own words, and trying to force the other person to accept them, it is a turning point to listen to the other person's words first, listen to the other person's opinion first, and then place my view beside it to align them. That is what it means to live for the other person. Broadly benefiting humanity does not mean withdrawing money from my bank account to buy someone 2 pineapples. Benefiting the other person means ensuring that the actions I take toward them are tailored to benefit them properly. Even when speaking, you must say words that are beneficial to the other person. Constantly forcing words that are not beneficial out of your own stubbornness will only make things increasingly difficult for them. So even if adults say nothing at all, speak only when our children ask, only when asked. From now on, if children don't ask, just don't say anything. What our adults do best is, have you eaten? This is the language of our Korean people. If you go out into the world, people don't ask, have you eaten? Only our people do that. Have you eaten? This is what we call affection jeong. It means I am always thinking of caring for you. Whether it's a child, a friend, or a guest who arrives, have you had a meal? Always worrying about the other person. This is embedded within our bodies. Passed down from generation to generation of our ancestors is, have you eaten? Even gangsters do that. Gangsters too. People don't realize how significant these words are. It means, I am concerned about you. Therefore, if we just set the right environment, because we possess this DNA itself, as long as we give proper guidance and lead people to live correctly, everyone is bound to go in the right direction. But we don't realize this. So thinking that helping you means I have to give you money, if you think like that, things are going wrong. What helping you really means is that even a single word or a single action I take is done to benefit you. That is what true helping is. Now, let's look at this here. Am I helping you, or am I begging from you? Because our young bub family comes to me to study and receive teachings, I am helping you. What helping means here is that I don't give you money. Someone looking at me said, the master is great in every way, but he doesn't give us money. I am not a person who makes money, so of course I cannot give money. Then what do I give? I give teachings mal sum, words of wisdom. Receiving teachings is something that money cannot buy. This is what helping is. The energy of ordinary words mal and the energy of teachings mal sum are different. Sharing words that are equal in mass with us is talking mal. But what do we call words that are higher in mass than ours? We call them teachings mal sum. Like saying I am going to listen to teachings. Listening to teachings is receiving energy. Because it is energy, when it enters me, my quality elevates, and whatever I do goes well. Through this, wealth comes, people are sent to me, and such things happen. We must listen to teachings mal sum. When we go to a professor, do they make us think it is a teaching mal sum? Speaking about knowledge is just talking mal. It is something you can hear even without going there. That is ordinary talk, whereas a teaching mal sum is listening to a mass that cannot be heard anywhere else. So even when listening to words at church today, in the past, what did we do? We went to listen to the pastor's teachings mal sum. We also went to listen to the monk's teachings mal sum. But today, the words those people speak are the exact same whether back then or now, even though we have grown this much. Achieve enlightenment, empty your greed, and so on. They just keep repeating those same words. We have grown up, yet they repeat what we heard before. For us today, those no longer count as teachings, mal sum, fitting our mass. That is actually why people hesitate to go. Leaders don't understand why people stop coming, thinking maybe they aren't coming because times are tough these days. But people don't come because you have no teachings, mal sum. As we grow, if we have grown this much, we must listen to teachings mal sum of this level. And if we have grown that much, we must listen to teachings mal sum of that level. Those who nurture us with this, those are our leaders and our masters. But right now, there is nowhere to hear true teachings mal sum. It is always the same old talk of knowledge, talk of their own perspectives. And because of this, our soul, I am the soul. The soul inside this physical body is me. This is what is called a spirit sin. Because spirits are combined with physical bodies, we don't know whether we are animals or spirits, and that is why we are called human beings in Gan. I am a spirit sin. I am a spirit, but the moment I am separated from the human body, I return to being a spirit. That is why our ancestors also returned as spirits. Though they have no physical bodies, our ancestors are spirits coming and going around us. What kind of spirits are they? They are called soul spirits, yang on sin. Coming into a physical body and then separating makes one a soul spirit. Soul spirits reside in the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is where spirits exist, while the third dimension is where humans live. And these are distinct. So from now on, you must live for the other person. This is the turning point. Only by living for the other person will your life untangle. This is absolute. Why would my life untangle if I live for the other person? Theirs would. As much as you enable that person to succeed, God makes your life succeed. You are bound to succeed only when you live for the other person. Why? Because among Hongik humans, you are Hongik human leaders, and among the nations of humanity, you are descendants of heaven Chionsen. As Hongik human leaders who possess all this knowledge, you must live broadly benefiting humanity. Living while broadly benefiting people is what defines a Hongik human. Thus, when you live benefiting others, your own life naturally begins to improve. Then what does it mean to live beneficially? Saying a necessary word to that person, performing a helpful action for that person, and offering sincerity to that person. This is what helping others is. Giving money or bread is not helping the other person. If I give good words to that person and help them, bread will appear for that person from somewhere. It arises naturally even if I don't give them bread. When I come, people give me all kinds of good things, right? Do you know why they give them? Because I speak teachings mal sum. Because I speak teachings, people think of giving me good things first, so I have zero worries about earning a living. Living takes care of itself naturally. I don't live to make a living, and people give even better things. If I speak even better teachings today, they want to give even better things tomorrow. They want to do anything for the master. Why? Because I speak teachings mal sum. This is energy. Human beings consist of two spirits, the physical body, Yuksen, and the true self, Jasen. Having these two, there is material energy and non-material energy, and when explaining this, we call them two spirits. Energy is spirit. One is material energy, and the other is non-material energy. Non-material energy is me, while the physical body, which is material energy, consists of God's particles. Particles of great nature, this is God's physical body. Matter belongs to God. All this matter, it exists naturally across the great universe. Operating according to the environment, God's particles function so that we can always use them appropriately for ourselves. So the reason we thank God is that He provides environments suitable for us. Toward God, there is nothing but gratitude. Even without asking Him to give or hand over things, He gives everything you need. If I live wrongly and need someone to slap my cheek, He sends someone straight away. Then, is God doing something wrong to me? No, you need to get slapped once to snap to your senses. So He lets that person slap your cheek. That is God's doing. But without realizing this, I feel hurt and stare resentfully at the person who slapped me. If you didn't do something deserving a slap, would you get slapped? Such a law absolutely does not exist. Difficult things happen because I lived in a way that caused those things to happen. We must find the cause. Therefore, when we talk about broadly benefiting humanity, people mistakenly think it means benefiting through material things. Material things cannot truly benefit human beings. Material things can be used together or shared. But what truly benefits a person is saying even a single necessary word to them, taking an action for their sake or speaking for their sake. Then what do you do when the other person feels suffocated and frustrated? When they feel frustrated, you don't speak to them, rather, you listen to their frustration, listening to their words. That is when you are living for them. I see that person feeling frustrated. When they are frustrated, I buy them a meal and say, tell me. Even if I buy a meal, they might not talk, so I buy them a drink. They might talk over tea, depending on their disposition. So setting a glass of wine and creating an atmosphere, words start pouring out. Draw out their words. You must draw out the frustration stuck inside. As long as it sits inside, my words won't reach them. So you must draw it out. Make them speak by any means. Then once they speak, what happens to them? Their mind feels relieved. Did you help them or not? This is what helping is. If that person looks troubled, tell them. Tell me everything. I am ready to listen and won't misunderstand, so tell me everything. Even so, they might hesitate. So I buy them a meal. Then, feeling trust, they can open up. If that still doesn't work, shall we have a drink tonight? Having a drink, they open up a little, so they speak. After speaking, their mind feels relieved, and after drinking a bit of alcohol, they become overjoyed. Even if you have to do it like this, burst open the words trapped inside them towards you according to their disposition. That is helping that person. If left in frustration, that person will fall ill. Now, let them speak. That is it. So even between married couples, because one spouse feels frustrated right now, dark spots appear on their face and they look unappealing. Open up their speech. When the murky energy is drawn out, their complexion returns. Don't try to fix it with makeup. Let them speak. Creating such an atmosphere well is also how I help that person. Only after their frustration comes out can my words be heard. If they are suffocated inside, no matter what you say, they won't hear it. These are such things. So, broadly benefiting humanity means living for that person, but this is not done through material things. For human beings, the highest mass energy is the energy of words, mal. Humans produce the greatest energy through speech. Therefore, trapping words inside without speaking creates murky energy. Making them speak and pour it all out to me makes their heart feel relieved. This too is helping that person. Unblocking what was clogged. This too is doing something for that person. Therefore, human beings benefit others by exchanging word energy, not through whether meal or money is given or not. Money is something to be shared well, and if I share money well, money comes back to me. Money Don is called money because it rotates Don Da. Money originally uses round currency in speech and writing. That's why terms like dollars also reflect the idea of circulating. So while money comes, if my energy doesn't circulate, money won't come. You must circulate energy for money to come. These are such things. Therefore, our South Korean people are raised as Taoists doin, and these Taoists must live for others. Only then do they become noble masters, Gunja. We must become enlightened masters, Du Tung Gun Ja, representing South Koreans. But these enlightened masters are not emerging, even though sorcerers do sa do. That is why South Korea is blocked. Thus, South Korea is now at a turning point where everyone must transform into Taoists doin. Then, joyful things will happen across all of our lives. This is how we unpack it.